Okay, so this is going to be the iOS version of the Google Cardboard integration here, the package here. So this is going to be very similar to the Android, and I do suggest also watching the Android so that you know what the process is like. There was a lot more downtime, so I'll have a lot more time there to explain, the kind of minutia of what we're doing. The first thing is you're going to take a look at your package manager, and rather than looking at Unity Registry, we're going to look at in project. We're going to press this plus button here, and you're going to paste a git URL, which is found at the in Canvas. It'll also be in the description of the video. And that just leads you right here, and that's found in this first section. Ends in .git. And that's going to take about 30 seconds to integrate into the project. Promise, even if it doesn't look like it's doing something, after you've pasted it and pressed OK, it will be doing something. Now, I don't actually have a compatible iOS device, so we won't be able to build and run something. So there's going to be more debugging while we're doing this for this class. But that was always really going to be the case for our iOS people. That's why you have the Android phone offered to you. So if you are not able to come to campus and you need an iOS device, you just let me know. Once again, we're going to import Hello Cardboard here, and we're going to import into project. This is Package Manager, which you can find under Window, about 25% of the way down. It's under Other, Google Cardboard XR plugin, which is what we just pasted in, and we import Hello Cardboard. Now, our first step for configuring an iOS project is going to be very similar. When we go to File and Build Settings, we're going to switch this over to iOS. I'm also going to check Development Build here and remove the sample scene, which is that URP default scene. And we switch platform. This was going to take about 30 seconds as well. It should be pretty quick. And there aren't too many other settings that we need to change. Not nearly as many as Android has. You'll notice it's a much shorter video here. Definitely still recommend you watch the Android version of this video just so that you get an impression of what happens and what success looks like when you're doing this. And this is just going to import and probably compress most of the shaders and the textures and the materials here, because they're different when you're working on a PC or when you're working on an iOS or Android device. Everything needs to be significantly more compressed because it needs to be smaller to fit on a phone. These applications can be a couple gigs on your computer, but you really want them to be quite a bit smaller so that people actually download and fit them on their phones. Going forward, we're just going to need to change the default orientation. We're going to do that by changing it to landscape rather than portrait, which we want so that the image is rendered horizontally rather than vertically like it would be in portrait mode. And we're going to have to do just 5 other settings, and that's going to be it. It's very simple here. After this build process, there is an additional step in Xcode. As you can see, I'm on Windows here. I cannot run Xcode without owning a Mac, not a map. And so I cannot show you that process either. I will, however, provide you with an appropriate guide for how to walk through that. Guy's done it a few times for me because he and I have different phones. He's got an iOS device, so he compiles my applications for me. And he can walk you through it too if you just shoot him an email. I think he's out for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but after that. I'm sure he'll be able to help you. And I'm sure I can get him to give me some screenshots of the steps or something like that if we need to do that. So again, that's after we do all of this and do all of these settings, and we go to build and run. We're going to be provided with an application that needs to be added to Xcode, and after it's in Xcode, then it'll run on our device. And that's just an extra step that Apple has added to their app creation process. They're a little particular. All right. After that, we're going to go into Scenes and add Hello Cardboard to our Scenes in Build here. Remembering that we've put it in Development Build, and we can put this in Debug as in Xcode. And if we go to our scene and open up Hello Cardboard here, we're going to see something very different than what we had before. As soon as it decides that it wants to let me do that. It's generating some lighting automatically. I'm just going to turn that off real quick. Alright, so once we're in our scene, we click on Hello Cardboard. I don't need to save any changes that I've done here. We have this basic scene, the same one that we got in Android, but we're not done yet because we still have to change some project settings. So we go to Player and Project Settings. We're going to go to the iOS portion, which is this middle tab here. Change the company name to your name if you don't have Doing Business As or an LLC for your artwork or anything like that. And we're going to find Default Orientation under Resolution and Presentation is Landscape Left. And under Other Settings, we are going to disable, if it is enabled, Auto Graphics API. We only just want the graphics API that we want is going to be OpenGLES2 or OpenGLES3. I would say start with 3. We're just going to add that in while I talk about this. I would definitely say start with 3. If your device can't handle 3, then try 2. Some devices will want both, and Xcode should tell you when you try to do it, when you try to put everything together. We're also going to have to delete metal here. We don't want metal in our graphics APIs, and we'll do that by pressing this minus button here. As this takes a little bit of time, it's important for me to leave these load times in for everything except for the build, because the build is going to take, about a half an hour, depending on the size of your project. So we're going to ignore pretty much that whole build process, and I'm not going to show it to you, but I'll tell you when it is that you would do that. Our next step is going to be filling out a field called Camera Usage Description, and all of these steps are in that same file that is linked in the description and in Canvas for my students. And the camera usage description is required because even though you're not using AR and you're not actually using the camera, for Google Cardboard, it still demands the camera usage permission, which is required to read some QR codes and some other things for Google Cardboard devices. I don't really know why they throw that in there, but it's something that Google Cardboard requires. And this is nearly done here. I'm not going to show you me removing metal, because that's just going to add another unnecessary minute or two to this video, and I want to make it as quick as we can. So we're nearly there. If you're using an iPhone X, you'll also have to find the option that says Hide Home Button on iPhone X. linear color space. Now, don't worry about this warning. We're going to get rid of metal. You should click this button. I don't want to take the time to click this button, so we'll be a little shorter here. So we need to go all the way down and find camera usage description, which is up here. And we're going to say that cardboard SDK requires camera permission to read QR code for Google Cardboard devices. And that's a fair assessment. This will be shown when you open it up on your phone, and when other people open it up on your device. We want the minimum iOS version to be 11.0, and I'll see if I can find that hide home button on iPhone X, which is here. So you have an iPhone X, you'll want to hide the home button by checking this one. Actually, even if you don't, you probably should do that as well, just in case. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, then uncheck it here and try again. 11.0, the camera usage description. And remember that you should get rid of this metal. I don't want to take the minute. And after that, all you have to do is go to XR plugin management. If this is blank here, you need to download it under packages, which is in the Unity registry. It'll be at the bottom here. XR plugin management. And just click this cardboard XR, and now we're all built up. And the next thing that we would do, we go to build settings, click on build, and then mount this into Xcode with those instructions and get this onto your device. That's it. That's all of iOS. If you want a little bit more detailed analysis on why we do these things, go check out the Android video. But that's it for us now. Okay? Hope this was helpful, and email me with any questions.